Hello again, everybody. This is the No Cap recap of the December 28th, Season 9, Episode 2 of the Curse of Oak Island companion show called Drilling Down. The episode is called Behind the Quest. If you missed my recaps of the Season 9 main shows so far, there's a link in the upper right. I will go back and recap this season's Episode 1 of Drilling Down as well, and we'll put a link to that in the upper right as well. Let's get into it. After an intro and title sequence, host Maddie Blake says that documenting the 226-year-old mystery of Oak Island is a quest on its own. Maddie is shown meeting with two of the Curse of Oak Island producers and asks why there is drilling going on at the Stone Triangle recreation location, pointing out that that is not the money pit. Here's a picture of the recreated Stone Triangle. The original stones fell into a pit caused by the 1965 excavation that I believe was the Robert Dunfield work. One of the producers tells Maddie, quote, "It's actually using it for cutting-edge technology that will be bringing onto the island later this year. Once they use the technology, it will solve the Oak Island mystery," end quote. This is not further explained and is the only new main show information in this episode of Drilling Down. Very interesting. In case you didn't know, the island activity happens as soon as it's warm enough in the spring until November or so when the weather gets too bad, and the show is aired starting in November. The producers go on to say they started with one production trailer in the first season, and now they are up to 4 or 5 trailers and at least 3 crews going at the same time to try to capture all of the searcher activity that is going on the island at the same time. They go on to talk about Season 1 being rough because there was plenty of effort. For example, air forcing sediment out of borehole 10X and draining the swamp for the first time, but there was nothing major discovered until the last 2 weeks of operations, and they were concerned about how the show would resonate with viewers. Next, they recount the first major find of the show, a 1652 Spanish coin found in the swamp, and Rick Lagina, thinking that it was too good to be true considering the timing of it, and that possibly the coin was placed there by producers. They assured Rick that they did not do that and were committed to integrity on the show. After that, numerous close calls with injury or worse are recounted, and Maddie meets with the producers, the director of photography, and Jack Begley at Borehole 10X. They explain that they have a safety meeting before every dig and take every precaution. They talk about Season 3's 10X dive with the best diver in the world, John Tatterton. He has dived on the Titanic and Andrea Doria wrecks. John's air hose was temporarily hung up, but it was quickly freed. Just one example of how exciting and dangerous at the same time things can be on Oak Island. At Smith Cove, they talk about the past tragedies on the island, including the deaths of Robert Restall, his son Bobby Jr., and 2 other men that died due to toxic gas in a shaft. They talk about the times that surviving family members of past searchers visit the island. Next, they recount in Season 5 when the H8 shaft caved in and Rick went in for a closer look. The director of photography said he tied himself to the bumper of his truck and filmed with his phone because the other cameras were off the island at the time. At the time of the long excavator work in the swamp unearthing the ship-shaped anomaly just seen in last week's main show episode, Maddie borrows Marty Lagina for a few minutes to talk about the time Rick was bitten by a deer tick and contracted Lyme disease. Marty took Rick to a clinic to get the needed medical attention. They talk about filming the personal lives of the people on the team, and the producer said that he told the Laginas that it's their choice how they covered that. And Rick decided to allow filming of the incident because it not only affects the treasure hunt, but also to promote Lyme disease awareness. Maddie meets with the producers again, this time outside the war room, where Maddie asked them what moments they covered that moved the needle for them, thinking that the mystery was going to be solved. They mention the lead cross and scientific data associated with it, as well as the recent scientific evidence of silver and gold in shafts in the Money Pit area. The man-made stone road in the swamp is also mentioned because it proves the swamp was not a natural feature. And the show is wrapped up by showcasing the emotional speech Rick made in last year's season finale in the war room. I'll be back next week to recap not only a new episode of Drilling Down, but also a new episode of the main Curse of Oak Island show as well, the first of the year 2022. Happy New Year, and thanks for watching.